Hey everybody, you are listening to another episode of the Monetize. I'm your host Tim Conley with my co-host and friend Pedro Moreno. How you doing, brother?
Doing fine, Tim. Today, are we talking about agencies and all of the biggest problems that they have?
Hey, so you mean like how agencies suck? That
Oh,
that that part?
you know what's funny? I mean, when I used to work for you as an editor, you most of your YouTube channel was about agencies
Uh-huh.
and ad agencies, uh, marketing, whatever agencies. And
Yeah.
I've never worked in one as an employee, but my girlfriend at that time she was working in one, and it's sort of like it was amazing to me that you've always worked in the U.S. and you've had clients and people that you know abroad, of course, but it was so baffling to me that all of the problems that you laid out that came from experiences based in the US were identical to all of the problems that she was having in her Uruguayan based agency as well. So that told me these problems are universal. And why does that happen?
Why? Well, because we're people. Like most things that humans do are very similar to each other. We have very similar motivations. We have very similar desires. Then, when we start putting people into organizing people into a group, we tend to fall into the same types of structures over and over again. And then part of it is like monkey see, monkey do. Like
Yeah.
you work for somebody else, then you go over and do your own business and you replicate what you did there. And in some cases, like people like you who have never actually worked as an employee in that type of agency, just start looking around at how other people are doing what you do
Yeah.
and you start replicating it, even if it doesn't work,
Yeah.
right? It's like, well,
Yep.
they're doing it, so it must work, but it's not the right thing to do. It's not optimal, but you have no idea about that. And then you have all these little pieces, like you're like you're like Dr. Frankenstein trying to put together his monster. You're got an arm from here, a leg from there, a brain from this other place, and you
Yeah.
just mash it all together. And then you've got this monstrosity that you've sewn together instead of actually building from a plan, knowing like these are the good parts, those are the bad parts.
Yeah.
That's everywhere, literally everyone. I've worked with agencies in Africa, I've worked with them in Europe, Australia, several Asian countries, and all over the United States. And they all have the exact same problem.
Man. Okay, so today we're digging into there's too many problems from the agency model, but what are like the most important ones that you want to tackle today?
The number one problem I see is agencies don't know what problem they're actually solving and hence do not know what outcome is necessary. So they do lots of things. They offer lots of services because if I offer you lots of services and lots of little things are getting done, then maybe I'm solving your problems.
Yeah.
But if you know exactly what problem is at play in a company, and then you know what to do to solve that, meaning you know understand the outcome, the true outcome that that company wants.
Yeah.
So company says, well, we're looking to get more clients. Okay, great. More clients means you want more revenue. Do you want more profit? Well, no, not necessarily. We're just trying to grow because if we get to this certain stage, then we'll be able to raise our next round of VC funding. It's like, oh, okay, so that's what you're after. Well, so we need to get to this so that you can get that outcome. Is that what you're after? And then they say, yes. Okay, now we know what to do.
Right.
right? Because
Yeah.
we know what the outcome is that the client is after. Most people have no idea. They get that superficial request. Well, we want more customers. We want to get our name out there. And then when you get their name out there, then they drop you and you're like, "Hey, I got your name out there." It's like, "Yeah, but we wanted this other thing."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like you've experienced this, I know. Like people have said, "Hey, we want you to produce our podcast," and then you produce their podcast, and they go, "Well, this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I wanted this other thing." It's like,
Mm.
no, when we first started, you said this.
Yes.
And here's the thing: I still make these mistakes. When I invested in an AI company a couple of years ago, I went to a client for the company. We pitched the client and everything, but I wasn't involved in all the sales conversations. So I was going off of essentially hearsay. So then we get to the client's office, and I'm doing this whole song and dance thing that was tailored specifically to the thing that was requested.
Yeah.
After the first day, I'm walking out, I'm talking to my business partner, and I'm like, they don't want this at all. Like, I just wasted this entire day. It took me all day to figure out they don't want this. They
Sure.
already have what this thing is supposed to give them. So tomorrow we're scrapping that and going 100% on the thing that they actually want done. So they said they wanted a priority list of what to do with what things to implement AI into their company. They wanted a priority list. After the first day, at the end, I discover they already had the list.
Mm.
We were sitting there trying to figure out what things that they're working on should get prioritized. They already had the priority list,
Man.
already had it. We wasted an entire day. So the very next day, it was 100% on what to do about the lists they already had. And then that list, we were able to prioritize things up or down. It was more nuanced. So if you don't know exactly what they want, the outcome they truly want, you will do services that will waste their time and waste your time.
Can I ask a question that might
Uh-huh.
deviate us just a little bit? What
Okay.
happens if the client or the prospect isn't clear on what they want?
That takes us into the next one, which is agencies don't know who they serve,
Mm.
right? They can't understand the problem because they have no idea who they truly serve. I was working with a company that they were working with attorneys, and they're like, "Man, like we need to increase our sales. We need to increase our sales." I took a look at all their data. Did not need to increase their sales at all. They had a retention problem. They were serving attorneys who were dropping out in 3 months. One, they didn't understand the problem they were solving, and they were serving a client that they should not have been serving in the first place.
Right.
Because when I looked at their numbers, I got into their P&L, I could see the clients that they had that were making them a ton of money. And I was like, why don't you just get 10 of those and you can drop 100 of these others?
Right.
Like, if you did that, your business becomes immediately profitable, like
Yeah.
far more profitable if you just did this. Fewer clients, you're doing essentially the exact same amount of work, but this client pays you far more money for that work, and they don't churn out. And this client over here churns out really fast, meaning
Mm-hmm.
you don't even recoup the cost of acquiring them as a customer.
Right.
That's what happens. If you have somebody who is not clear, it's because you are not clear who you serve.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, just for those little sticklers out there who might be listening, if your business is actually giving clarity, there are agencies that's their job, like brand strategy, doing customer segmentation, doing pricing. The service that you provide is clarity, right? Okay,
Yeah.
now if you know that that's what you solve, then you want clients that are not clear, like that don't have clarity.
Right.
But everyone else, you're serving somebody, they need to know exactly the outcome that they're after, or you will start acquiring clients that are not good clients for you.
And the way to get there is that with sort of like a coaching approach, or with a better segmentation of who goes through your pipeline of sales.
Now, that's an interesting thing. We'll stick with just agency model, not the
Hmm.
clients, members, and customers model, which is
No,
far superior.
what
We
I
should do
mean,
that.
it's the sort of like the stage where you were at with this AI client, where you were there and spent a whole day just to figure out that they already had what they were looking for. But I imagine that happened after you sat there as a sort of like as a coach that helped with questions arrive to the problem, right? As opposed to maybe having them um, give that information prior to becoming a client.
I'm not sure what you're asking. Uh, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't a part of the full sales process. So
Okay.
I didn't know exactly what they were after. I was going with what I was told by my business partner
Okay.
about what they wanted. Had I gotten on a call with them and asked them very pointed questions about exactly what they were after, we could have avoided that wasted day.
Right.
We could have actually accomplished something better. So that situation was specifically bad sales.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a bad sales process.
Yeah,
The
that's
right
my question.
questions were not asked.
Right. Yeah.
So it wasn't the client's fault. It was 100% my fault because I should have asked questions that I assumed had already been asked. Right. So, and this does happen with a lot of agencies where you're so wrapped up in trying to get the client
Mm-hmm.
that you don't ask the client what the client really wants. Like I see that all the time.
Yeah. Like, so many agencies also make the mistake of just having way more on their plate than what they can chew, and sometimes that happens because they're so focused in getting the sale that they forget about even being profitable. Like, there are some teams that are very profitable at a with a skim, sort of like a light operation with just like a couple of people, and then they scale to, I don't know, like 15, 20, 30 people, and then all of a sudden find themselves not being profitable, but actually sort of like wasting more money and having way more churn as well. Is that one of the, like, a third problem that you see with agency models?
Yes. Um, part of that's not know. So like these are kind of stacking on each other. Don't
Mm-hmm.
know what you do. You don't know who you do it for. And then you take on these people that you should not be working with,
Yeah.
and you don't analyze your numbers to make sure that you're, uh, one, helping them, but two, that you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting your money. So I had a client years ago that he had 3 services that he was selling à la carte. Like, if you wanted a website, you got a website. If you wanted, at this time, it's still Google AdWords. If you wanted AdWords, you got that. If you wanted SEO, you got that. I went through and he had all these clients. And this client would have like maybe a website and SEO, and this client would have AdWords and nothing else. This client would have a website and nothing else. One client would have just SEO, right? And it's like you don't have the right utilization mix for these services. Either drop 2 of the services, or you combine all 3 into one service and
Right.
sell just that one service. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back through all your current clients, and we're going to sell them the other 2. If they've got one service, we're gonna sell them the other 2. Whatever service is missing, we're selling them that service. because as soon as we were able to increase the utilization of services, he became profitable. He was putting money back into his business because so many of his clients were essentially costing him money. Like he was paying to work for these people. It
Yeah.
was costing him money. And then the other side was he had services that were priced at below what it cost him to deliver because he had no idea what it took from his team to deliver that service.
Right.
So I forced him to do time tracking. Everybody hates time tracking. Everybody does. And your employees hate time tracking. But if you do not know how long it takes to do every one of your services, on average, sure, some are going to take longer, some are going to take less, but on average, they're going to take X amount of time. If you do not know that, you are probably losing a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we'd call that, like name that problem, but that is a major problem.
I mean, this is like a heavy word, but I think it's the accurate one, which is like ignorance on the amount of labor that it takes to do a single task or single job in for your team. Because then, you might even get surprised on, well, your team is basically burning out because you're having way more clients than you are able to afford, and your team is paying the price as well, with a broken money system as well, where you don't find yourself being profitable, and you're just eating up more and more small clients because you are also a little bit ignorant on who you're serving and the amount of value that person is getting from your service as well. So it's sort of like it piles up and it becomes like a huge snowball that is just rolling down the hill and then and taking a ton of agency away, right?
Right. I'm glad you brought that up because it wasn't on my list of things to talk about, but it is a big problem, which is too many clients.
Yeah.
It goes back to not knowing who your client really is. So, like the client I had with the attorneys, they
Hmm.
had, oh gosh, 100 and something low
Hmm.
end attorneys, and then like 20 something high end attorneys, and the 20 something those 20 something attorneys made them nearly all their money.
Right.
So the other ones were taking lots of work. Everybody was busy. And this happens all the time. There's even lots of agency gurus that pitch this kind of model. I charge $3,000 a month, including the ad spend, and go get a whole bunch of clients.
Yeah.
And this one guru years ago, he was talking about it, and he was saying that his account rep, one account rep that he had, was serving 50 clients.
Man. Jesus.
Not even possible.
Man.
There's no way that account rep could possibly serve and keep happy
Yeah.
50 accounts.
No.
But they could not afford to make a profit and have more account reps at the price that they were charging. Not possible. So if you are serving the wrong client, which means you're also charging the wrong price, then you're going to have to put tons of work onto people and they are never going to be able to do their best work.
Yeah.
And then the client is going to churn out. Happens over and over again. That's why I always talk about 10 to 12 clients. An agency should be able to be highly profitable on 10 to 12 clients. Can you have more than that? Yes, you can have more. You can have you can go 20, 24. You can go higher than that. But the more clients you have, the bigger the price tag that you should be serving because more complexity gets integrated into that business. And more complexity causes friction, and friction burns energy.
Sure.
Which burns money. And you start losing profitability as you start scaling. The more
Sure.
clients you have, the harder it is to keep them happy. And if you do not have a big budget being paid to you by this massive number of clients, then you will not be able to serve each of those clients properly and they will churn out.
Yeah, I mean, this is an universal truth, which we were talking about just in the beginning of the episode. This happens anywhere in the world. And I think this happens also as a result of, as you said, monkey see, monkey do, and just replicating old systems with new technologies, new approach as well, and like an absurd number of team members, headcount, and clients as well, but all breaking at the same point, which is the system that they have implemented. And this sort of mindset also of getting as many as you can, no matter the cost, and not being able to stop at a certain point and at least like see genuinely which are the clients that are being more profitable and which are the ones that like a rule of thumb would be, at least for me, it is which are the clients that your team hate working on because they take up
Yeah.
too much energy, because the work is too much for how little it's being paid, for how much does this client requires, like how much attention they require as well, because oftentimes the smallest budgets require the highest attention level as well. This is something that we see all over the place, and I think like a quick fix that you just laid out is go through the sheet of clients that you have, point out which are more profitable, and try and make a strategy to get more of those and drop the whole bunch of others. I believe like this is
Right.
also something that people at higher levels struggle with, because it's sort of like being divorced with a mentality that was built there like decades ago. And there are some leaders also that don't have like this courage to even stop and think about what they're doing. So it takes like some, guts to do it as well, and really change that model that we see it's broken all over the place.
One of the things that you mentioned there was about switching clients, getting rid of some, getting more of others. And this can lead to the client concentration problem. Lots of people end up with one really
Hmm.
big account.
Yep.
And at first it's a miracle.
Hmm.
Everybody's happy in the company. Everybody's eager to work on the project, and then after a while, you're like, oh wow, if they leave, we're screwed because you've adjusted all the company's expenses around this one client.
Yeah, I can relate.
And like, so they're 20% of your revenue. And then all the other clients that you have, a bunch of them, end up making up the other 80%.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I've had this conversation for over 15 years now, where every time I see this happening, they've got like one big account. And I ask them, why didn't you go get another one?
Hmm.
They stop. Like they get the one. And they're
Yeah.
like, yay, well, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then they go back to getting more of the little ones.
Yeah.
And they've got this one that's a big client concentration that they're not properly serving because they've got all these little accounts that take up all their time and all their creativity. And that one big account starts getting upset. Hey, why are you not serving us properly?
Yeah.
We pay you a lot of money.
Yep.
And they go, oh, okay. And then they rush over and then they like work with the big client. But then all the headaches start popping up from all the little ones. No one goes after another big account as soon as they get a big account.
Sure.
Because that's where I came up with the idea of client stacking. You've got this stack of clients, and now you've got this other one, which they gave you money, which proves you're good enough to be at that level. So that means now you're in a new stack. You have a
Yeah.
new client stack to build. Go
Yeah.
build that one. Forget about the smaller ones. Stop chasing them. spend all your time to get another one of those, because you say you got 50 small accounts. You might eventually have 50 big accounts, and your life is simpler. You're enjoying things better. You got a lot more profit. You're buying that Ferrari you always wanted because you went after those bigger accounts instead of chasing hundreds and hundreds of small ones.
That hits home because it definitely happened to me. But now, I'm looking back, and I gotta say, I'm a bit proud of myself because I got to the point several months later that I said, okay, well, yeah, I did get this client at this next stack. This is my new standard, and I'm not going to be able to take anything below this. And ever since then, we have clients stacked at that level as well. So that is also something that I feel like at least small business owners like me and people who are just beginning with their agency really need to do a ton of internal work to say, I got validated by this one client. This is good enough for me to use this as leverage to go get 2, 3, 4 more because we're able to deliver at this level. And from there, just
Right.
keep on growing, keep on being validated and growing the systems and growing your services as well and delivering even more ambitious outcomes too, which is, what we're all after at the end of the day.
All right. I think that's enough. That's enough problems with the agencies.
Yeah.
So anyone watching, listening, go into the comments. If we didn't cover your particular problem, ask a question about that problem in the comments. Then if we did and there's something you want clarity on, ask that question in the comments, and we will definitely come in, answer them, whether you're on YouTube or Spotify. We will definitely answer your questions. And with that, we'll see you in the next episode.
See ya.